trying to adapt that
The
thing.
greatest director in Hollywood. One of the greatest directors in Hollywood. Definitely most handsome.
Come on now.
As you were.
I appreciate that.
Hi, you're watching Movie Guide. I'm Jeremy Carroll, and we're on the red carpet of Devotion, a story about two men who overcome incredible odds. Let's talk to some of the cast and crew. So this is all about perseverance and devotion to one another. Do you have someone in your life that is there for you when you need them?
Thank you.
You know, the best thing about just my life is that I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful family that I can lean on for anything. It's this journey has not been filled with a lot of successes, and only now is it starting to trend that way, which has been really fun. But your family keeps you grounded, and your family in good times, bad times, they're there for you. So yeah, my family keeps me grounded and devoted.
So what were some of the unique challenges bringing some of these themes and like virtues and things into Not Alone?
That's a great question. You know, the relationship between Jesse and Tom, and Jesse and Daisy and the 32s, like how do you tie it all in together? It took a long time to figure that out. But I think what I found as a common denominator was that they're always there for each other. And that feeling of, you're not alone in this, I'm here for you. No matter what you go through, even speaking to like little nods in the movie to Jesse giving his wings away to Tom in a scene. It's like, I'm gonna give you your wings not to go and fly. Really speaking to the truth of that, and I think that's the importance.
So this movie's a lot about perseverance. Have you ever had moments where you had to find something that just pulls you through and you had perseverance in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a story about friendship, the highest form of that. And I'm grateful that I have great friends and family in my life that look after me, and I look after them, and it's a yin-yang, and it's an important thing.
Thank you so much. We'll get you back to the Movie Guide Awards.
See ya, guys. Let's do it.
Yeah. So it's a story about perseverance and devotion to one another despite our differences. Is there anyone in your life that's there for you?
Is that for me? Oh man, I'm overwhelmed with support, you know. But I think probably my uncle Chuck, who always looks after me, you know. I probably got a text message now saying, "Go get him, nephew," you know, and that's what I intend on doing. Yeah, it's the man. It's funny when you play someone who's walked and talked and lived and loved in the world and has made an impact in the world. You know, it's that's all you have to do is tell the truth. And as we all know, telling the truth is quite difficult. It takes time sometimes. It takes patience sometimes. And so this is the handshake, you know, for Jesse and Tom, and for everybody. You know, it's the handshake. We've not seen this story before, and so the amount of attention is necessary to not just get it right, but get it truthful and put it in an orbit where everybody can relate and touch it and feel it, you know.
What are some of the unique challenges of bringing a true story like this to the big screen?
You know, look, you want to make sure that you honor the real legacy of, you know, the folks that you're telling the story about, and at the same time you're trying to make a movie, you know, and those two things aren't always they don't always agree. But you know, I think the funny thing about our story is that Jesse and Tom are great guys, so you have to actually find ways to sort of, in playing with the themes of the movie, find conflict, you know, find something that gives your movie legs, and you want to do all of that while, you know, maintaining the beautiful legacy of the man you're telling the story about.
So this movie's a lot about perseverance and sticking up for the next guy. What are some of the things that you hope audiences can walk away with hearing these stories?
You know, for me, it's really being there for someone is a hard, complicated, nuanced thing, you know, and what works for one person doesn't work for another person. You know, you don't want to take someone's agency away in trying to help them, and so much of devotion kind of plays with, you know, I think honestly what the nuance of allyship is, you know. So I would hope that, you know, when the movie wraps up and maybe you wipe a tear away, that's sort of the you know, what's echoing in your heart as the credits are rolling.
What are some of the elements that you didn't know about this story that you really wanted to bring to film and kind of like really expose there to the world? Is there anything in particular that you really wanted to sell with it?
I mean, dude, that happened at every corner, because when I I read the script first, and then when I read the book, I was like, oh my God, all this stuff happened, which is a great feeling when you're a filmmaker trying to adapt that
The
thing.
greatest director in Hollywood. One of the greatest directors in Hollywood. Definitely most handsome.
Come on now.
As you were.
I appreciate that. Jonathan Majors. I don't even remember my question. He called me handsome. Lord. What was it? Oh my God! He just took me completely off rails.
He has that effect,
Like, look, that's why they're in the movie. That's why I'm here, not normally on camera, and they are there.
No, I was just wondering if there's like one specific scene or anything like that that really stood out to you that you felt like you guys really nailed or anything like that.
I'll say this. The scene with Jesse in the mirror where he sort of, we expose how hard the journey has been in this sort of ritual that he has. I was so shocked to see that is something that young Jesse really did. And that to me was the moment where I was like, oh, I think this is the story I want to tell because it's playing with things like this. And it shows just how rich and sort of heartbreaking parts of Jesse's story were. But when I read that, I knew that, this is something that I wanted in the movie, and also just why I want to make the movie.
So what's your process for developing your research? You've done a number of these projects before. Talk me through your process.
I always believe in going to the places where history was made. So for Devotion, I started out where the two main characters were from. Hattiesburg, Mississippi, where Jesse Brown came from. I had to see what it's like to grow up as a sharecropper. What's it like to be in circumstances that tough? Then I went to where Tom was from, the country clubs of Rhode Island. I got to see the life he came from. And then eventually went to North Korea for this story. That's where the story was set. That's where the battlefield was. And to really understand the Korean War, I don't think you can write about it from your desk in the safety of America. So Tom and I flew across the world. He was 88 years old, and we went to North Korea. And we came out. We came out alive.
That's incredible. So do you see a common thread through all of your works of like some of the valor and some of the values that some of these men have who have been serving overseas, men and women who serve overseas?
There's this incredible common thread, and it's selflessness. And it's so amazing when you look at it from today's perspective, because so many of us are just concerned about where's my career going and how do I look and how many likes did I get. These guys wanted to fly to protect America. They wanted to defend us from some really bad actors in the world. Jesse Brown, he didn't try to become the first black airline pilot. He could have. He could have been a pioneer in a lot of different places. He said, I want to be a Navy carrier pilot. I want to fly into danger to protect the people of this country. And the amazing thing is, the country at the time didn't quite love him back. Some people did, but a lot of the country didn't believe in Jesse Brown. But he never lost sight of what he believed in, and he believed in America.
That's amazing. So you have a couple other great books out there, Spearhead, Higher Call. Are those going to be made into movie adaptions? Can we look forward to more works by you?
We're working on Spearhead right now. It's with an incredible director, one of the top 10 directors in history, box office history. And I think this might have started a snowball that may just keep going. But I love these stories of these real people. And I think it touches all of us. And studying these people and learning about what they went through makes us appreciate our lives, makes us better people. That's why fact is better than fiction any day. True story is going to beat fiction. Fiction's escapism, it's fantasy. This stuff hits you hard.
What are some of the unique challenges of bringing someone who really existed onto screen?
Particularly because she's not here anymore, it was trying to do the best that I could do in being very clear about what my version of her was. And, it's reading the book, it's reading the letters, and then, trying to put myself into that mind space and into that responsibility. That was a lot, but I'm very happy with what we ended up with.
And you're kind of like the solid rock in the relationship, and you kind of like bring him along and get him motivated. Can you relate to that? Do you have someone in your life that's kind of your rock that really gets you to get to where you need to be?
I mean, yeah, you have different people who do that in different areas. I think particularly with Daisy, it's super important because for him to do what he needs to do in the sky, he needs to be grounded at home. And his grounding was Daisy's love.
Did you know much about the story beforehand? Anything?
I didn't know about Jesse. I didn't know about Daisy. I didn't know about the Korean War. And so all of it was just, eye-opening. But to know this particular story and to know these particular people, it just made it so much more heartfelt. And I mean, truly, as a cast, we're just getting to that point where we can talk about the film and not cry.
So what are some of the themes that are kind of going to be resonating with audiences after they watch a movie like this?
Oh, man. That's a really good question. I think that's sort of up to the audience. But one of the things that we really want to make sure that people are taking away from this is that, our respect for and our care for our service members doesn't stop when the yellow ribbon goes up, right? It starts when they sign up, when they volunteer to serve, and our care for them, for their families, our dedication to them has to follow them for their entire careers and into retirement and until they finally pass on to the other side, because that's what we owe them. And too often I think that we forget that part. It's really easy to take your hat off and put your hand over your heart at a baseball game, but it's not as easy to push your congresspeople to make sure that veterans are getting the care that they need. It's not as easy to call up your senators and say, hey man, why aren't you taking care of the people who are taking care of us?
When you're working with a work kind of like Devotion, the book, where do you find the balance between dramatizing some of that and kind of working within a true story kind of framework?
I mean, the great part about this story is that we didn't really have to do a whole lot of work in terms of dramatizing it. These guys lived a couple of years together in the most unbelievable way. Like the story of the couple of years of their lives that they were flying together before this incident in the Korean War you literally couldn't write it. If you turned that script in without it being a true story, they'd say, all right, scale it back. They didn't really meet Elizabeth Taylor in Cannes and get to hang out with her in Monte Carlo. And it's like, yeah, no, they did. All right, maybe this great act of heroism didn't actually happen. No, it really did. All of this stuff really happened. These were real people. And frankly, the fact of the matter is that a lot of our story, a lot of the story, the real story of this didn't even make the screen. We could have made a 10-hour movie about these guys and it wouldn't have encapsulated everything that they managed to accomplish and what they lived. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is there something that you think the audience can walk away with from this that's really going to resonate with them? What's specific kind of value or something that they can get out of this?
I think one of the things we want people to walk away from this with is a passion, the same passion that we all have as cast members, the same passion that Tom Hudner lived the entirety of his life with, this goal of getting Jesse home. We carry that torch because it is our responsibility if we're going to tell this story to put in the effort to bring the man back. We're paying honor to Tom Hudner, who spent his life making sure that he could bring his best friend home. And we want to inspire that in people as well. This is one of those ways in which art can enact change, and we can make a difference, and we want to do that.
Now, this movie is kind of about a forgotten war, in a sense. Did you know anything about it before you took on the project, or did you learn everything on the spot?
I learned pretty much all on the spot. I didn't grow up near the military at all, and so reading the script was a great introduction to that and realizing just how human those stories are. I mean, of course they are, but it was a great way to feel emotionally involved and then give you the impetus to, obviously through the script and then knowing the project, to just read more and learn more about it. And it made me feel that much more validated knowing the importance of this story and stories like it. Yeah.
What do you think the impact that this movie is going to have with some of these themes about devotion, despite people's differences, and coming together and really putting your life on the line for each other? Yeah. Do you think that's an important message for today in today's society?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's an important message at any time, but it's, like I said, it's very human. It really touches these. I mean, the first time I read the script, I cried. The first time I saw it, I cried. It's just a beautiful picture and portrait of what it is to be human, and devotion is such a perfect word for that. But so is love, and so is brotherhood. There's so much tied into it that I think is important for us now, but at any time, it's just a beautiful reminder, I guess. Yeah.
That's a wrap from the red carpet of devotion. Be sure to check out the full review at movieguide.org.